Welcome back. Market Mastery, the 1 hour you need to make money in this market. We're going to set you up for success with some key levels on some key names. We're going to analyze the charts that you guys provide to us, and we're going to talk a little bit of trading psychology to walk you through my journey from zero to hero of how I turned from someone with absolutely no experience, no understanding, and really no money into someone that has built their own ATM that I've installed in my living room as a result of learning this stuff. So, look, here's the deal. Most people that watch this will end up still being confused, maybe even broke and overwhelmed 90 days from now. But it's not because they're lazy. It's because, well, it's not because they're lazy, and it's because they like being distracted. It's because people spend so much time being too busy to learn because they're studying to realize that these moments only happen in the market if you're in the market. And that my number one goal is that just even through this stream or everything else we do in the Discord, we are able to get through 5 to 10 weekly mountains to climb. Because at the end of the day, this comes down to how well you can navigate the chaos of your environment. And if you're good at navigating it, you'll do very well here. If you struggle with navigating, investing in general is going to be very difficult. But more importantly, if you struggle to navigate it and you still think that it's somebody else's problem or somebody else did it, then you need to take a closer look at what's going on. So we're going to talk a couple of Chinese names. Sorry, I'm just typing out this Twitter post to get this out for everybody. It's a Q1 of okay. Sorry, I just wanted to get that up. All right. So as always, hit the comments. If you're new here, let us know. If you've been in the Discord, drop your Discord username. It's always great to see who's here supporting us, learning, growing. Because look, at the end of the day, like you're here because you know there's something, you're just on the other side of it and you haven't figured out how to climb the ledge, right? Big part of that when it comes to putting your money to work is realizing that the only problem you have is you. That's at least my story, that I was the biggest thing standing in the way of myself and making consistent and reproducible income that didn't require me to invest a ton of time every minute of every day. Basically, as many of the fucking fake gurus say, detaching your time from money, but they're not wrong. As I learned that there were people making money in the market, I would then look and try to figure out why I'm not making money in the market. And as I look at that, it allowed me to adjust the strategies, improve what I was doing, change who I was as a person so that this could actually make sense for me. And I bashed my head against the wall. I lost a ton of money a number of times when I first started, but I will say the moment of clarity that finally hit was just realizing that I didn't have any clarity. I was trying to do it completely on my own, and it was not working. So if you found yourself in a position where you've been trying this thing and it's just not working, then it's the wrong things. You're not the problem. You might be getting in the way, but it's not that you are not enough or that you can't do it. It's simply that you don't have the right tools, the right people, or you're just focusing in the wrong way. So again, once I got clarity on what kind of trader actually am I, like really, and if you're curious, again, you see a link at the bottom. If you want to learn what an entire year, if you want to put an entire year of learning to trade into 4 consecutive days and walk away with a strong mastery of at least one money-making strategy that you can use tomorrow, check out the link at the bottom. Come trade with us in person. Best thing I can offer you, period. It's better than our memberships. It's better than anything else because you're learning in person and nothing matches that. So for me, it was joining a community that I could trade in. That was a big part because that helped me find the clarity on what my style actually was. I love day trading because it was exhilarating, but I lack the emotional. I'm not willing to do it. I don't have that discipline to do it all the time. Now I do it for fun here and there, but I don't do it all the time. More importantly, shout out Chag, I love that. More importantly, I figured out that I like the long and strong, slow and steady movers, the really great fundamental stories that are just not playing in the market. And I like trading long-term options to maximize my game without having to put a bunch of money into the trade. Because at first I was trying to figure out how do I make $1,000 with, how do I make $10,000 with 1,000? And once I got to that point, it became quite easy because I was able to develop a structure. So again, phase one is getting that clarity of what the hell am I even doing here and what is it I want to accomplish. Step two, phase two, whatever you want to call it, is the structure. One setup, one time a day, one execution strategy. If you can't define, this is one of the greatest lessons. So pay attention or write this down. This applies to your everyday life, but it absolutely applies to your trading. If you can't define your strategy in one sentence, you don't have one. Again, if you can't define your strategy in one sentence, you don't have one. Just like a business plan, everything else. Simplicity is key. I then moved from phase one, clarity, to phase two, structure, right? Okay, now I know what kind of trading I want to do. Okay, now I have some structure of how it's going to get done. Phase three is proof. Do it again, prove it, reproduce it. This is just science. If you look at what science is on the whole, I have an idea. I spend a little money and time. I try a thing. I see if I like the results. If I do, I do it again. If I don't like the results, I will not do it again. It's that simple. I promise. The market doesn't reward people who dabble. It rewards people that commit. So if you're tired of talking about what could work, this is your moment to find out what actually does. And if you're like me, you learn a billion times better in person. That face-to-face, that one-on-one contact, the ability to ask a quick question and get a quick answer, that's what made the difference for me. And it was in getting a coach and participating in those in-person trading seminars that did it for me. So again, if you're on the fence, I'll say it one more time. The market does not reward those who dabble. It rewards those that commit. So if you're tired of talking about what could work, let's start doing what actually does, what we already know does. So if you're not coming, I hope to see you there. I also would love it if you guys would share with me right now, like what of those three phases, right? What would you say you're stuck in right now? Clarity, structure, proof. Which phase keeps you holds you hostage? Which place do you get stuck? Because I think that identifying that is key. This is a great question. Why would you risk a few $100 to be there when you don't have any? Something's got to change, man. Something's got to change. I'm not saying spend money you don't have, but I will tell you when I learned how to trade, the first person I ever hired to be a part of their community and learn from them, I paid them more money than I had to spend on it. My whole account was like 10 grand and I spent 2 grand on membership. That account got to 30 grand. It went down to like 2 grand. And then I ran it up to 30 with what I learned. So again, you don't go to college thinking, well, you know, that I'm going to get that job the moment I walk in as a freshman. There's a tuition. However, college will put you into $50,000 to $100,000 in debt a year to get a job that maybe makes 70 if you're lucky. What I'm talking about is spending a few $100 and 4 days of time to learn something that can make you $100,000 a year, starting the moment you leave. I think that's the big difference. It's that level of commitment. Stay fitted. What's up, baby? Beast mode and free. My strategy sucks. Well, let's fix it, dude. I mean, when we know that something is causing pain and we continue to do it, we have chosen that pain because deep down we think we deserve it. Most people tell themselves, I'm not enough. You suck. You're the worst. You may fight that outright, but at the end of the day, when you go look at your decisions and the way you think, you'll see that you have victimized yourself. And the cool part is that you have victimized yourself. So you're in full control of no longer doing so. The bad part is you victimized yourself. So if you're still trying to project that blame outward to everyone else, it's just not going to work. So I think for a lot of people, that's the struggle, is that they get stuck in the why me, how is this happening mindset, and then nothing ever changes. So if you're in that mindset, okay, the doctor, greatest answer I ever heard from a patient was, I'm not going to school, but I'm going to invest and study trading as if I'm going to college. All the time and attention with little to no money spent. I love that. This is all I did. This is all I did for a long time. I would just sit in my room and I would trade and I would track and I would evaluate. I would talk to members in the community. I would refine the strategy. It was a true group effort. It was a community. It was a community effort for me. And teaching you guys is a lot of what made me a lot better, if I'm being honest. So get this. All right. So, quick question. Like I said, put it in the chats when we start to go in some of these charts. I really would love for you guys to tell me, like, what phase do you think you get most stuck in? Is it the clarity? Is it shit? I can't remember already. I think we're talking about clarity. Step 2 is Tesla structure, and then proof. So, which stage you get stuck in most? Which is the hardest? And for those that don't know, if you've been coming to the stream to get the SPY market mastery levels, if you're a premium member in Penny Boys, you still have access to those. Those will be published. That was an oversight on our behalf. We're working on a channel to get them out to you exclusively within the Discord, so you guys have them. If you're not, best $100 you ever spent. Those trades, just to pull that chart up real quick, and we can get into it. Just last week, you could see this move here on the SPY, but just coming off of the bottom of 524 to 582, that's a $40 move. That was a 150% plus move on the specific options we mentioned. So if you followed these trades, you made an easy double your money just from last Monday. And you should have been able to do that almost every week for the past 2 years. I would say we're hitting about 80% on those trades, hitting at least 100%. So if you're not taking those trades, you need to. Porter can drop the link in the chat if you want to get signed up and have the SPY. If you want these SPY options sent directly to your email, broken down for you each week with some updates and other information, you can sign up. And it's very cheap. The goal is to make it the most affordable product to trade SPY options without having to put a year into learning how to do everything. So for those of you that are new to options, it still works. For those of you that experience options, it absolutely works. And for those that are usually trading on their own, find their own trades, it will 100. There's no way it doesn't make you money. I'd be shocked. So that's that. So let's talk about the SPY. Okay. So we've got a chart here, right, that we're on the weekly view. So we're seeing larger time frames, right? And we could see that we were riding the highs 600 plus, and then we dropped to 41, 120 something dollar move. And then we just started ripping back up. So the inflection point was right about here when we started ripping back up. Who saw this coming and who was faked out by this move on the SPY? So honest question. Who saw that upside move coming and who was faked out by the chart? Who was surprised, caught off sides by this move? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Id, my man, we can get you the link. For Traders Paradise, it's the link at the bottom. If you're talking about getting into Penny Boys and getting a coach, we can get you that link as well. So as Porter said, we called out on this chart that pivot at 480. It went to 481.66. That's how accurate that level was. Not because we have a crystal ball or because we predict the future, but because we do this for a living and this is our lifeblood. So if you want those that are great at this to be doing all the research for you and sending it to you, that's why I would sign up with Market Mastery. And again, we could drop a link in the chat for anyone that doesn't have it. We will absolutely get on that. So again, the goal of this is to put you in position. So I really would love feedback. Who was ready for this push up and who was head faked? Because this is a really important lesson. Happens all the time where people go, I don't get it. How'd you see that happening? It looked like it was going to be beautiful, but then it just didn't play out. Because this is going to be your mountain of pain, your monument to pain, if you answer yes to this question. So this is a weekly. I'll pull up the daily for you so you can see this happen in a pretty big move. We went down to 555, and in 2 days we sold off to 482. Then we ripped right back up 551. Second buy was down to 507, and now we're trading at 580. So over an $80 move. Okay, there we go. Yolanda. This is Yojo Lan. Okay, I was stuck in clarity, life issues for a long time. Finally coming out of it, the Penny Boys. I now understand, know what type of training suits me. Beautiful. Beautiful. We'll see you again. I'm so excited. I played a put today for 22%. Nice. So, question on a gap up. This is a good opportunity, and I'm going to pick on you. I want to help you. On a gap up day on the SPY, where were you entering puts and why? What did you see at market open that you're like, hey, yeah, I like me some of that. I'm taking these puts for this small move it made from 582 to 576. Because that trade worked today, but those kind of trades are exactly the ones that absolutely have destroyed me in the past. Where I take a weird short-term contrarian trade to take a trade, and just because it was up, I bet on downside. And again, I'm saying this because I love you, and I mean this. Let's just stay fitted. This trade will bend you over and beat you to death 9 times out of 10. You got away with it this time. What are we going to do in the future? How are we going to prevent that problem from occurring again? How do we not take that trade again? That's my question. And I'd say we start by figuring out why did we take that trade? So why was that trade, like, just walk me through what made sense about that trade. You might have had an extremely logical reason that made sense and it was worth the risk. I don't know. That's why I'm asking. So I'd love to see that answer because I think breaking down the questions like this are where we find the real gold at the end of the day. Wow. Yeah, we're breaking out. So you can see we're clearly climbing up, trudging these levels. Our next target would be 584 and change. So keep a close eye on the SPY. Again, if you're in the Discord, you're going to get the Market Mastery SPY options trades where I break down for you 2 options trades that will make you money in any market, both bull and bear. Again, I give you the bear trade and the bull trade in the exact levels I'm playing it off of. So for instance, you would have caught this move from 560 to 583. That was a multiple 100% move on the gap up today. You will be getting that and more. It is only $97 for the entire year. So basically you're paying like $7 a report basically for me to go do all this work. And if you're trading those SPY contracts, there's no way in hell if you follow them, you don't make $7. There's no way in hell you don't make $100. So for what it's worth. All right, really quick back into it, and then we're gonna move on because I think this is good. Stay fitted. I didn't have logical. I messed up Friday. Then. Okay. So question: Did what you feel like you messed up on Friday? Do you feel like that influenced you at all to make the trade you made today? Like, oh shit, I made a bad trade Friday, or I missed the trade Friday. I'm gonna get it back here. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I just want to give him a minute to answer. I'm gonna assume no. Okay. Either way, I would love to know if you want to outline like here's why that trade made sense, and we'll break it down together and go through it to make sure it's sound. Because again, when I talk about having a system, it should be so straightforward and so simple that I insert the ticker into the system and it just tells me yes or no, right? So I know right then and there if it's a trade I'm taking or not. So a good example, right? I think Tesla has provided us one of the better examples, which congratulations, it's paying today. If you took my TSLL trade, I chose to do leverage Tesla on equity. We're up, I think, 50% on that leverage trade. That was a phenomenal trade. Still holding my shares of Tesla long term, but this is a great one, right? So we had these levels mapped out for you. Okay. If you're in premium, you got all this. You had clear lines of sight on Tesla and how to trade it. 270 was the bottom, 359 was the top. We saw the bottom, so this is another buy at 270. You're already up $40 a share, almost 10%, right? A little more than 10%. Here's where this trade got tricky. A few times we reclaimed this 270 trend line, right? And then we just sold off. And then we're talking 204 is the bottom. Scary times, right? So how do you hold through times like this? Well, it comes down to conviction. I would say number one, but that's only born through emotional mastery. So because I have done this so many times, because I have failed so many times, because I have sold too early or bought too late, I have gained enough experience to be able to highlight to me when I'm looking at something through an overly emotional lens. So, for example, when we went below 270, I started to look at this as like, should I buy more 250? Should I buy more 218? I was already allocated. I didn't need more. I wanted to do the leverage trade though. So what did I do? I waited till we got a bottom day off of support. When we were above support, I bought the bottom. Now we're trading up. We're at 40%. So this puts you in the right position, right? This was the trade. The hard part was holding it and not buying too much or closing it out too soon. So it's not ever that the setup fails. It is only that you fail the mindset because the setup is the setup. It's either bull or it's bear or sideways. It's the same shit. It doesn't change and you can't control that. What you can't control is how you react to the outcome. So basically, when we're looking at Tesla right now, again, trading leveraged because I'm in TSLL, which gives you a lot more exposure. So again, we're in here from the was it low 8s or 9s? I don't know. We're buying whatever. So TSLL, clear line of resistance right here. We're going to trade until then and maybe close some of the core position, right? So when you get a level like that, 1425, now I have a target. I know I'm going to take half off. I just need to hold until that occurs or until the opposite is true, meaning it broke my levels and the trade is no longer there. It is never a matter of the trade setup. It is only a matter of me. So we were prepped for this because we were already watching the key zones and the key areas for Tesla in advance. So again, think of that. You're going into a chart on a trading day, right? And you like Tesla long term, and you have someone who's in there literally mapping out everything that is expected to happen with the company, both fundamentally and technically, and then breaking it down for you in a concise format so that you can make the most out of the money you're putting in the market. You would be a powerful machine. And that's without even using tools like StockSbuddy that give you automated buy and sell signals based on the technical indicators, right? So StockSbuddy buy just hit at 250 and it's again went to 321. It's almost 100 a share. So that being said, This is really important stuff that we're talking about. So again, those that were able to catch this Tesla trade did it because they had the levels in advance. You're in premium, you have a membership, you're dealing with the community, you're getting our research, it's working. So effectively, here's the deal. Here's what we saw in Tesla. I'm going to just walk you through the whole process, just to give you a taste. So we've been long on Tesla. The last large scale buy was on the live stream with Shay right here, 140s in April of 24. We've gone to 485 since then. I'm still holding, right? We saw clear inefficiency in the market. Tesla's bouncing off long-term trend. It's inefficiently priced. It's still priced as a car manufacturer. It's not. It's an AI and tech solution that will service, I think, a lot of different elements, right? So they're a software and AI company and a car company. So why did we enter at 140? Long-term trend support. Look at this. The last time we hit it, December of 22 at 109. We also bought it then. So imagine you have this little birdie on your shoulder that's watching these key levels and chirping to you saying, I'm waiting to see if Tesla goes to 110 so I could buy it. All of a sudden you look, Tesla's bleeding. The market's red. Everyone's panicking. But there you are going, holy shit, I just got a good deal on Tesla. That was a great buy because you were prepared, because we've done the research, because you had the levels. And then when we came back again and on live stream, literally 140, 141, whatever we called it at, this was the second buy. Why? Long-term trend. The business has not changed. The conviction is still strong. Everything is still moving in the same direction. The market's just down today, right? And instead of like wallowing in peril, I took advantage of it and I put more of my money in it to appreciate as the market corrects itself and values Tesla higher. As you can see, it went to 500, just about. So after we bought here and here, I waited until we hit this range and we hit 271, came back down, tested it again, then broke out. The first time we broke out, I sold some 360. I sold some 450, 440, give or take. Now we hit 480 and that was it. And I've held since then, right? So the question is now, for those of you that are smart, is, well, what did you do after? Because you won't believe this, but I promise you, this is the most important part of this trade, was what I did after. And it's still active. It's still not done. But the point is that after the trade had concluded, I sat down, not concluded, but after we hit profit targets, right? I sat down and then mapped out how much I still have at risk in the trade, why I still like the trade. Do I still like the trade? Would I like to buy more? Yes or no? If so, where would I buy it? And where is my next sell target? How much am I going to sell? I had all that mapped out. So I analyzed the trade, went back in time, went through all the things I did. I was able to pick out a few, like I said, inefficiencies, in a sense that, like, when we were struggling with 270, I was struggling mentally. So I wanted to figure out, where was I not executing at the level I know I need to, and I mapped it out. So I left this Tesla trade with a bunch of money in my pocket, a cost basis below 150 on my shares, tens of thousands of dollars in profit that was collected, along with a lot of profit that's still on the table. A clear picture of how well I did in the trade with the score, right? And then a continual improvement to integrate what I learned into every strategy I run, into every trade, into every theory, into everything. Because if I don't understand what I did, I can't change what I'm going to do. And I care very much about that. That's why I say focus on what I'm doing at the moment. Can't change that. Can't change this. I can change it right now. So I went through what I saw, why I entered it, where I scaled in and out, and then what did I journal after to understand the trade better. Simple 4 steps. And if you're not doing this kind of breakdown on your own trades, you're not growing. That's the truth right there. If you're not evaluating your own trades, if you're not evaluating your own marriage, you're not growing. If you're not evaluating your own friendships, you're not growing. If you're not evaluating your own personal health or physical health, you're not growing. And if you don't grow, you rot. There are 2 options: grow or rot. And if you want to rot financially, that's a tough one, because it typically exacerbates all others. Maslow's hierarchy of needs made this very simple. When you have a home, when you have food, when you have safety and security, all is possible. If you don't have financial security, things are very difficult. So I love Pookie said it. Success starts in self-assessment. So the first challenge I would have to any of you is, where are you actually at? we're going to have a little fun here. So we're going to have our good friend, Mr. Porter, give us a very concise, in less than 5 minutes, a very concise breakdown of where he's at in his trading right now. So you can see what that looks like. Again, so that everyone has clarity, structure, and proof. That's the point. Clarity, structure, proof. Clarity, structure, proof. And we'll see if Porter can follow the exercise and give you guys a really good example of what that looks like in practice day by day. Because at the end of the day, I learn by seeing other people do it first, and then being available to me to give me guidance as I'm trying to do whatever that thing is together. Yeah, just like a quick 2-second self-assessment. Like, where are you at in your trading process, especially with those 3 areas? Yeah, you won, dude. You get to answer the question for everyone and get a thorough analysis. So, all right. We're going to go on to a couple more charts here. Palantir still heating up. Again, remember we gave you the buy signal on this at $7. I don't even see that on the chart anymore. There it is. This is when we started buying, May of 2023 at $7-8. It's currently trading at 118 and change. So you are up over 10 times on your initial investment. Congratulations. If you're still holding shares or you bought off the alert, again, remember I said key level is $72. And that was my target for buying more shares. Unfortunately, I shit the bed and I did not execute the buy order. I didn't have it in and I missed it. And I didn't see it until we were back up in the 80s. So if you caught those cheap shares, you doubled your money in like 2 weeks. Congratulations. That's a huge win. So what I want to look at with this exact chart right here is like, okay, so what would it look like getting into another Palantir trade, just to give you guys some insight into what actually needs to be done for you to make money on your trades, because I don't think people have a very clear understanding of what those things are. So for example, in Palantir, we are first going to focus on getting a clear picture of what we think could happen, so that we can be prepared for that outcome. Whatever the most likely thing is we think could happen, that's the outcome we need to be prepared for. So when the outcome occurs, it instantly grows the money. Yeah, pretty much that's it. We'll leave that as number 1. I was going to say a few more. But so the why. We know why we like Palantir. We really, really get it. Unbelievable move. This move is just crazy, right? But the value has always been there. We saw it first, and so we capitalized on it, and now we're up 1,000% plus on our equity. That's crazy, because we were willing to be bold early. So now, what have you done for me lately, and how shall this continue? Or I missed the trade and I want to get in. So let's look at it. Okay, first things first is, why am I just now seeing the trade? That's the first question I ask. Like, I'd look at this chart and I'd be like, damn, this thing ran up from $8. How come I didn't catch it at $8? That's what I want to know. So ask yourself that question. I already have the answer. Join Penny Boys, and you won't. And attend the stream. So that would be my first question. And let's say I answer that with like, okay, I just missed it. I wasn't diving into tech and AI as much as I would like to. Now I know an area where I need to get more exposure, right? That's the point of journaling this and understanding it. Second part is, where are we now versus future value? So the question is can this run more? Answer, obviously, yes. It's AI. They have tons of government funding. They're absolutely breaking the world with the things they're doing. And I think that they're still so black box that no one really knows what they're getting. So it's like, this is the best play we can run with, so we got to take it. I will say this resurgence from 62 does make me feel a little ambitious and a little bullish. But in Stocks Buddy would say that we're in a bearish state right now, unless we get over 121. I would agree with the break over 121 part. So what we want to watch for is this. When I look at a new trade that I'm going to enter, right? It's first, why am I so late to the party? Again, we call Palantir at $7-8. So you can get it by joining Penny Boys. That's simple. Easy problem to solve. The question is, okay, now that we know we missed it, where's it at now and where's it going to go? So the first thing I look at is, do we have any clear, clean support levels? Answer, yes. 109 and change. I actually really like that. I would even adjust down to like 108 and change to include this little bit of a bullish hold here, along with where the sellers were able to push price to on this candle right here. So when looking at this chart, I want to know that there's support beneath me, so I have my pivot point. When I find my pivot point, okay, great. I got to identify it, and that'll be my kind of like risk management tool to understand. It's huge. And let's then define what type of trade this is going to be. Like, I wouldn't take a trade like this unless it was just breakout and momentum. So we know that when we break out over 108 and change, we can keep cooking for a while. And clearly the chart's proven it as long as it continues. So that's why if, let's say, for example, I'm getting in here at 118, my max risk is $10 a share, 10%. It's not small risk. So I need to make 30%. I need to know there's 30% of upside still in it for me. So there's a few ways that you could do that. And again, we're going to show you the best ways to do this at Trader's Paradise in the moment. So if you really want to learn this like in depth, that's where I'd suggest you come get it. That's what I thought, 127 and 164. So 164 was my long-term target that I gave you before when me and Shay were on the stream. So I would say that let's shoot for the first target, which would be about 130, right? That's about, no, we have to go higher than that to get 1 to 3. So I guess that's the first thing is, can I risk $1 to make 3? Because if I can't, then the trade's not worth it. It's just not. If I'm not risking $1 to make 3, then it really is stupid. It's stupid. So in this case, am I going to make 1 to 3 with a threshold of risk I'm comfortable with? Probably not. So what would I look for? Okay, what happens if Palantir sells off? So maybe this isn't a trade for right now. Let's say it sells off and tests this and then comes down and starts bumbling along at 70, 72. That's a trade I'm more interested. Why? Because I have more data to back up this idea. Support actually held for a number of months at this level. Support has only held for 1 or 2 attempts at this top level, right? So the bottom level is stronger. It's beautiful. This is what I like. So I would opt out of the breakout trade on Palantir, and I would opt in for the quote watch list trade in case it sells off to get a great name at a stupid cheap price, right? So as long as nothing fundamentally changes with the business, to me, that's a smarter trade. It's not the Momo breakout trade. It's the long-term swing on Palantir. So I would pass on the short-term Momo trade because that's also not my skill set. It's not one that I can do it because I'm good at trading. It's kind of like how like a Major League Baseball player, even a pitcher, right, who traditionally pitchers don't hit that well. If you put him against me in a softball contest, he's going to smoke me and hit way better than me. Why? Because his base skill is even his worst skill is probably still better than my best, right? So same thing's true of trading. Even my worst trading style is still probably going to be better than the next guy who has no formal expertise, education, or wisdom in the markets. I'm going to do better than that guy. So I don't worry about it. But I don't like the Momo trade. I do like the swing trade. So again, it's fitting trading within my lifestyle, not the other way around. I am not going to sit and stare at the screen to figure out this high risk Momo trade where we're clearly double topping and struggling to put. I don't want that. But I will take the discount buy at 72 for a test to 108. So basically, what I'm saying is if we lose this level, we're going to build even stronger support in the 70s. I want to keep buying there like an institution so that the next time we come back up to try and test again, when we're trading up here at 108, I'm already up 50%, almost 100%. I'm up like 50 to 75%. Then once we're here, I'm already at a huge advantage versus the people that are buying at 118 because my risk, I can basically set my stop loss below 65. I have a huge window of opportunity to where I'm not going to get flushed out by a market maker for a small short-term gain. I'm going to sit on my ass and collect 100% on my money in a year. That's what would happen. So for me, that would be the trade that I would focus on. And those would be the reasons I would focus on it because it fits my style of trading, of analysis, of living. It fits in every way, shape, or form. So that being said, that's how I'd trade this one. So I hope that it helped mitigate any bad ideas anybody had of buying this with no risk control in sight. So if you're the kind of person that would just jump in this options trade with no idea where the stop loss would be, like, so if you're saying, yeah, I like this, I'm going to buy calls. Okay, well, where does the Palantir stock need to go? How far down can it go before you go, oh my God, calls are not happening? You need to know the answer to that question. How far down can this stock go before it change, like, to change trend, right? Like, where does Palantir flip from a bullish stock to a bearish stock? That's what you need to know. Because if you're going into this going, oh, I'm just going into calls because everyone loves Palantir, great. Options expire. When does Palantir hit that target? Don't know. I'm just going to buy calls. Is implied volatility escalated right now, meaning you're paying a premium that you don't need to be paying, like you're overpaying? That's not the opportunity. So let me just pause there for a second. I just wanted you guys to, like, truly hear the thinking, everything behind it. I want you to understand how I'm going in, looking at this trade, how I'm evaluating myself and the world around me. Does this make sense? And is it helpful or valuable? Is this the most valuable thing we could be doing right now with our collective time? Is talking about this stuff together here. Yes, no, it's not helpful. It's doing nothing. Nobody cares. Nobody wants it anymore. Don't talk about it. What do you guys think? Does help? Okay, good. So, interesting stock. I was watching our good friend Lou Bassney's show earlier, and he brought this one up. I'm not exactly sure what this company is or does, but the chart is very interesting. Oh, interesting. And then drop your tickers in the chat. We will definitely get into some smash or pass. Good, Kenny Penny. Hell yeah. That's exactly what I need to hear. I love that. Greed, always useful. Yes. Pookie's sponging over here. Okay. So there looks like they're the automotive market, sensors and chips for the advanced driving assistant, industrial and IoT. So they do like smart sensors, stuff like that. They do mobile and consumer, and they do security. So the headquarters in Netherlands. They spun off from Philips. More of a Qualcomm competitor, it seems, than like an NVIDIA or anything else. The chart looks real interesting. So I think that this is one to watch. I don't have a position in the stock. I haven't been able to do a deep dive yet on exactly what they're up to, but I will say Stocks Buddy just went bullish on the weekly. If you do not have Stocks Buddy, Jesus Christ, don't wait anymore. Oh my God. Single greatest automated tool you don't ever have to think about. It's the best. I would pay for it. I'll say that right now. I would pay for it. 100%. This makes it so easy. That little boost to confidence of the signal just makes trading that much easier. So if you don't have Stocks Buddy, get it. It's the most efficient tool you could ever use if you like looking at charts. So we just reclaimed trend, and we just broke out gap fill from no gap fill, but it did create a gap. So be cautious of that on the way down. But it did reclaim ascending trend, so that's a huge sign. I think realistically that if we can break like 215, 216, this one's a real breakout candidate. I know Poogie was commenting on the stream about leaps, options leaps. We can definitely, I think, make some noise here and get into some stuff together, because I think this name looks good, and the chart is just confirming what I already kind of thought. So let's get into smash or pass. Drop your tickers in the chat. We'll start with Hood. There's a good one still holding long. Wow, we hit. Wow. Remember, that was our target. It was 50. Remember when we got into this trade? When it was trading at like $8 down here? And everyone thought I was crazy for targeting $60. Holy shit. Look at us. Went to 67 and change. So our next move is to the final very predictable move, in my opinion, is right here. $84. So we're still up a few 1,000% on these options. I still have I think I still have a few of them. Wow, my computer is slow. Oh yeah, we're up 2,560%. This turned $145 into almost $4,000. Unbelievable. So if options are done right, I just put the link in the chat if you want to see them. If options are done right, this is it. This is how you do options. This is how you do it. 2,560%. Literally buy once and wait. The last time I bought, December 5th, 2023. Oh, I had a contract that was canceled. That sucks. So I had 2 of these. So for every 140 I spend, I got $4,000 basically. So imagine that. Even if you have a couple $100 in your account, like really think about that for a second. If you have a couple $100 in your account and you took 5 of these trades, one pays off. You went from $500 in your account to $5,000. Now let's say 2 of the trades pay off. Now you're at $10,000. That's crazy. That's how quickly this can change. With the right play, well placed at the right time, you can make stupid amounts of money. Stupid. But you have to be in position and ready. So looking at this a little bit closer, I really want to see us above $60 and holding. If we're not, I would just like to maintain this trend, or we're going to end up probably recreating this range right here with the low of $40. So basically, if we don't break above 60 now and hold, I think we're going to come back down to 40 or so. Yes, big bets bring big losses. That's my point. That is why I'm saying you don't have to make big bets. And I'm happy to show you. You asked. Small bet, $145. Small bet, small risk. Big reward. Wow, they're just now reaching back to where they were priced at the IPO. But again, small bet, big reward. Buy once, but one time, about one of these boys. Turned into $4,000. I'm just sitting here waiting and wishing. I did buy some of the shares, but these I will probably sell. Small bet, massive reward. That's all I try to do with options. Where can I put $200-300 at risk to make $2-3,000? That's all I'm looking for. So it's important to understand that there is a scientific element to this that is very easy to reproduce. And my goal is to put you in position to reproduce it. That's the goal. I think leveraging the SPY options that we break down for you, that's a big tool. That is a huge opportunity. The long-term leaps and equity trades, huge opportunity. Biotech breakouts, huge opportunity, all of this stuff. If you feel like you're just so close to it, but you're just not quite getting it, again, come learn in person. You just might not be a digital person. You need the initial jump start in person, and then you're fine afterwards because you just need it enough to get over the hump to get it. This is your chance to show yourself that you can do it, and it is possible. And I hope to see you there. Feel free to create a support ticket in the Discord or go right to the page and sign up. Confluent. This is interesting. This feels like some sort of shy name, but that's super interesting. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So that puts us, wow, pretty decent upside there, bucko. So we need to be over 34, and we will head to 65. Okay. There's a few ways to trade this. This one's great. I think it was Lee brought this up. There's a few ways to trade this. Okay. So the way I'd look at, just realized we had swapped. Okay. So I actually really like this. This is a great setup. This is really interesting. Easy risk reward here. I mean, just sell off the lows, trade for a $10 move up. Like I would easily trade $3 in downside for $10 in upside. This is very interesting. What does this company do? I think that's Lee. I really like this though. There's really two ways. You could bottom feeder this and you could almost take profit at the breakout target, but also hold it and wait, because if this breaks over 32, it's easily going to go to 37. If we get above 37, you can see this thing rip to 65 post IPO. So there's a ton of opportunity here. There's definitely a double. It's basically risk $5 a share to make, worst case, I think, is 10. If the company is good. The channel's great. I like the setup. I'm just not. Yeah, this is really good. Now, this would be one I would be very curious on the options chain. Let me pop it in there. Okay, we had CFLT. Confluent. Oh, yeah. This options chain is not bad. Applied volatility is a scooch too high, but I could live with that. Wow. Ooh, I think we might have an options trade out of this. So for those of you in premium, I think we got a trade we could break down on Friday on our 2:30 stream, 2:30 Central, 3:30 Eastern. Yeah, I think. Or we save it for Trader's Paradise. I like that. The long-term options leaf. Save it. Give it a taste. Give it a tease. I like that. So if you want the options trade, you know what? No, we got to do Friday. If you want the options trade, we're going to break down for this name that should be a multi-100% bagger. Come on Friday, 3:30 Eastern. Come join the live stream. You need premium access to do it, so get signed up. Or jump right in and get you a coach. Either way, it's a win for you. Just jump in the Discord and the team will help you get set up. I really like this one. I think it's this one's very interesting. Very interesting. I think this might be a very fruitful trade for us. This feels very familiar to some of the other names that have done really well. So I think this is going to be a banger. So get in there and get access, and we will break this down. Like I said, I'm super hyped to see you all at Traders Paradise. Those that are going to be there, if you are coming, you could simply scan this code right now. It's on your screen in the top right. You can see it right up there. Go ahead and scan this code. It'll take you straight to the page so that you can look at what's going on for Traders Paradise and get a little bit more info to really see how this is going to go for you. How are we doing compared to what the goal you set out to achieve?
So I have made it to $258 a month average dividend income right now. So I'm happy about that. And I should be upping that tremendously soon.
I'm doing pretty good considering all the things that's going on in my life right now. I'm up about maybe $1,200 since January, I think. Just following Ben's suggestions. I've been following him to the T. So I've been doing well with that. I've been listening in to everyone else, but I think I'm doing pretty good.
Since we had the trip, I've been able to meet the goal pretty much that we set out, probably at least 3 out of 4 weeks a month, sometimes more. I think it was like 500 a week at the time, dividends.
Would you say that the trades that you initiate, right, so the risk that you take on, does it meet the parameters that you set out to meet in terms of a yes or a no?
No, it does, yes.
Okay. And what has been the result of that?
Positive.
Bada bang.
Profits. Bada boom.
There it is. So there you have it. I hope you join us. At the very least, come join us in the Discord. Trade with us Friday for this CFLT options trade. I do think it will pay handsomely. Shout out to those that are featured in the video, and a lot of you guys are here. We appreciate you. Thank you for being the biggest fans and proponents of what we do here and telling the world. I really appreciate it. As you know, integrity is everything, and to have people that you know you've genuinely made a change in their life, that's the reason why you guys are here. So I love y'all. Stay blessed now. Bye-bye. Ta-ta for now.